Hi, welcome back to The Compass, a show where we talk about the Christian faith and how it's involved in today's world. I'm John Hofstadter.
And I'm Kyle Clardy. We hope you had a great summer, and we're excited to have everyone back on campus. Today we'll be discussing social media and its impact on the Christian faith.
Now Kyle, are you on any social media platforms?
Yeah, I'm on a couple of different ones like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, just kind of what's popular. What about you, John?
I end up being on a bit of everything, the same that you mentioned before. They just all keep changing and growing, and they keep adding new ones, and people just go to the hot new thing.
Right, yeah, there's all these different platforms, and things like TikTok really exploded in the last year and things like that, and Instagram's always been popular. So yeah, they just keep coming multiple different ones and exploding and blowing up. So let's go to Cameron on the street as he interviews students about the impact of social media on their faith.
Good morning, Southern Westland. My name is Cameron McSpur, and I have Kaylee right here with me. And today we're going to be asking her a few questions about social media and how it affects our faith. And so the first question I have for Kaylee is, are you on social media? Like, are you on it at all? Do you use it?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on social media.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I post that much, but I do like watching what other people post.
Right,
Keep
yeah.
up with stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think with social media in our generation, we all have it, you know. Now, my next question is, how do you think that affects your faith? You think it's a positive effect, a negative effect, and why?
I think it depends on who you follow, honestly. So,
Mhm.
like, that you can definitely have positive people in your life that you follow and they keep up and encourage you in your faith, but you can also have negative people that bring you down and make you envy others.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it definitely depends on who
Right.
you follow.
Yeah, it's like Kaylee says, it's all about perspective. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cameron. I'm here with Dustin Bybee. Thank you for being here. We're excited to have you on the set.
Thanks for having me, John. Yeah.
So tell us a little about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I am the student pastor of Welcome Wesleyan Church just down the road over in Seneca. I've been doing that for about 4-ish years now, I guess. But yeah, what else do you want to know about me?
I mean, everyone today has social media, but what social media are you on right now?
Facebook, Instagram, kind of mostly those whenever I do get on those. But YouTube, I guess, would be considered a social media platform to a degree. That's a big one, yeah. Just kind of the basics, I guess.
So you're a youth pastor. What is your stance on social media? And
Stance meaning what are my exact views on
are you in support of it?
Yeah, it's unique. I think it's like anything. You have to. It's a balance. Social media is, to a degree, is a really good thing, right? It's how we connect with people. We see what's new, what's happening. We can connect with our grandmothers, that using that platform. Friends who we don't see very often. Feel like we're in their lives and invested. Alternatively, there's a lot of bad stuff on social media. It's addictive in a lot of ways. There's a lot more that goes on with it than just simple smiles, and so it's kind of that balance, I guess, within it. So,
do you think it has a big impact on our faith?
I definitely do. Definitely do. Social media is free for the most part, right? How is it that it's multi-million dollar, billion-dollar industry if it's free to us? Someone out there, marketing places, advertising, they're buying our attention. They're buying us. So it's a place where we buy into that, right? If our attention is supposed to be pointed elsewhere, as a Christian, it's supposed to be pointed on the Lord. Spiritual disciplines lead to that. But someone else is actually buying and stealing that attention. I definitely think that impacts our faith.
And do you think it's a effective platform to spread the Christian faith? I know Welcome live streams on Facebook every week, but what else can it be used for?
No, that's a great point. I think live streaming church, the coronavirus definitely was an eye-opener for that for a lot of different people. All of a sudden, social media is saturated with churches and saturated with live stream services, and that's kind of a cool concept. I think it's a really good way to spread that message. I mean, if you're just scrolling through Facebook, you see a bunch of those on Sundays. You'll see those shared with people. It's another avenue for congregants to share on their pages. I know people who have stuff on their Instagrams and stuff on their Facebooks that's kind of their life outside of church, right? And this gives them an opportunity to actually share things, literally sharing something more that's different than that. And it could be, it's as easy to click. Someone can just click on it and watch something from that. That's a way that the churches can do that. There's a lot of different video content that they can put out. The key is if the church has quality gear to make that happen. Versus you scroll in and you see a church that just has like someone's phone and it's really shaky and stuff, all of a sudden you might have a really bad view of what that church can do and it makes you question more of who they are. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, one last thing here. What advice would you want to give other Christians who are currently going through social media right now, probably going to listen to the show?
Tread carefully, I think. Social media has tons of good advantages. It's a great place to share content, but at the same time, yeah, it's addictive. It's literally designed and set up for your preferences, right? To keep you scrolling, to keep you looking, to keep you laughing, to keep you in that moment. It literally steals your awareness. So what are you giving it to, and what's it taking from? If it's taking any at all devotion or time that it could be spent being more attentive to the Lord, tread carefully. It can be dangerous, for sure. It can be addictive in that way.
Okay, well, thank you for being with us today. Next up, we're heading back to Cameron to talk about some of the positives of social media.
Today we have AJ today with us, and again, our topic is about social media and how it affects our faith. Thank you for your time today, AJ. My first question for you is, do you think social media is an effective platform to grow the Christian faith?
So I say social media, in my opinion, is that sometimes, like, you can see bad things on social media and, like, some good things, but, some people delete social media as they're walking through Christ because they don't want to see, like, all the bad and all the negative in the world, but, yeah. So, I say it's good and bad at the same time, but if you're walking with Christ and you don't want to see all that, you can just delete social media. No, that's it.
And be just right, yeah, definitely. And my next question is, how can social media help the church grow?
It can help, like, say, like, a church, whatever, like, they can post, like, Bible verses and devotionals, all that every day, like, people, like, students, whatever, like, they can post the same thing, like, Bible verses, whatever. Like, I follow multiple Christian accounts on my Instagram, I just look at that stuff every day, and it really helps, so,
Yeah, definitely.
That's it.
Thank you so much, AJ. Thank you for your time as well.
This is what winners are made of. This is what leaders are made of. This is what scholars are made of. This is what believers are made of. This is what warriors are made of.
Wow, it was great hearing from Dustin about his outside perspective.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting, especially from a youth pastor's perspective, of how he uses social media to kind of branch out and try to reach out to the younger audience and people who may not know the gospel. And I think that's really an important aspect of the church to grow along with social media.
Yeah, I've known Dustin for a long time, and I've seen him use that social media to broadcast like youth group every night. Like, he really knows how to get us really excited for Wednesday nights.
Yeah. Let's head to Cameron.
Now we have John Luke here with some more questions about social media. John Luke, the first question is, do you think social media is an effective platform to grow the Christian faith?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, Cameron. I think it's a question that should definitely be discussed more. I know there's so many different avenues and ways that social media can be effective. There's pages you can follow. Like, I personally follow, like, Scripture, Official Athletes Corner. Like, it's like stuff that gives you, like, daily motivation just to be a better Christian, and not only, me as an athlete, also a better Christian athlete in the way that I play, just the way to interact with people. But also it can be pretty detrimental to people's faith.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's social media. It's cause for, it makes people feel bad about themselves. It creates images that aren't realistic. it's tough. I think it's one of those things that it's a super gray area. Like, we don't know how really effective it is in a good way and how effective it is in a bad way. Like, there's so many good areas that it can cover, but there's also so many bad ways that it can affect people.
Correct.
So I do think that there is a time and a space for it, and I think that it can be a really powerful tool, but at the same time, it could also be a negative way.
Yeah, definitely. It's like John Luke said, it's all about perspective. Then my second question today is, do you think social media can help the church grow? Do you think there's a way you can maybe bring more people in, maybe scare people out of the church? Do you think it's a way to help the church grow in general?
Yeah. No, I think it can most definitely help grow the church. I go to Foothills Church in Seneca, and we have a big youth program. And nowadays, almost every kid ages 12 to 17, they're on social media, and that's where they get their daily dose of information. That's where they get their news, unfortunately. But that's just the way the world is now. So I think the church definitely should use social media as a platform to grow outreach, not just for youth programs, but using Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, just to reach out, because that's what God tells us to do. He says to bring the gospel to all nations, and right now social media is almost its own nation right now. So it's our job as Christians and people that go to church to use whatever God has given us to make a way for other people to come to the church. And like you said, it could scare some people off because they don't want to be involved in that because it's too showy, whatever.
Correct. Yeah.
But you got to weigh the benefits over the non. So I really do think it's a powerful way to use outreach, definitely for the youth now that social media is everywhere, but just in general, I think definitely it can be used for outreach.
Yeah, definitely agree. Thank you for your time today, John Luke.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. I'm here with Will Hughes. Thanks for being here today, Will.
Yeah, no problem, Kyle.
So Will, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a junior here at SWU. I'm involved in a ton of different things, from soccer team to being an RA, to serving on our campus's chapel band, and serving at Alive down the road as well.
So Will, do you use any forms of social media?
Yeah, I mean, just like your other college students, like I'll use Instagram and TikTok. I never really got into Facebook, but yeah, I'm a pretty big social media user.
So do you feel that social media affects us as Christians?
I think it does. I think that everything that we view, we intake, whether that's social media or music, I mean, there's so much free reign of what people can post and put out there that I think it affects the way we think and the way we act sometimes, and that can definitely affect the way that Christians act as well.
So on that same note, what do you think some of the positives and negatives are of social media on Christians?
Well, I think the positives is that it's free usage. We're able to use it to our advantage as well. We can post, whether that's scriptures or churches, I know a lot of times have social media accounts as well, so that they can post recaps from their Sundays or anything that they have going on throughout the week as well. So there's a lot of positives to it, but negatives can be too, is that it's not a for sure thing. There's always going to be something that's said out there that can always be traced back, and it's always just hard, and you have to be very careful on what you put out there.
Right, definitely. So do you think there's a place for Christians on social media?
Absolutely. I think there's a place for Christians on social media, but I think that with being a Christian on social media, you're put under a very large microscope, so that way people can nitpick you and people can try and find something that's wrong with you to critique you.
So with that being said, how do you think Christians are or shouldn't stray? Like, how do we use social media without straying from our faith?
I think, again, we use it to our advantage. When churches use it, like I said, they can post scripture, which is a great way to do that. With Instagram stories, when people can ask questions, you can ask for prayer requests instead. So there's a lot of ways that we can use it to our advantage, but again, you just have to be very careful. And even if you're going to post something, maybe have your friend or someone else double check it.
So how do you think we as Christians can spread the gospel on social media?
I think that there's a lot of ways we can spread the gospel. For me personally, with a new ministry that I'm involved with here on SWU's campus called Reach, we have our own Instagram page, and each week we live stream and then upload our service to there. So that way people can hear a student-led message, but something that's just supposed to be inspiring to them. But it's a way that we can spread scripture, ask people about prayer, get involved with people's lives, and share what we believe to put a positive message out there on social media.
It's really cool, Will. So what advice would you give to Christians when using social media?
I would say that you just have to be really careful, because people are going to always be out to try and pick apart the Christian faith, and people are always going to try and find out what is wrong with Christians and use that against us.
Well, thank you so much for being here today with us, Will.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What if there's a place for you where your dreams and future collide with God's vision and direction, where thinking and doing go hand in hand with innovation, where servant leaders of the next generation are grown, and where your story can be written and change the course of history, where generosity is contagious, and if you catch it, you just might change the world. This is it. Step into community, step into faith, step into life, step into Southern Wesleyan University.
Man, Cal, it was great to hear a student's perspective with Will's interview.
Yeah, I think one thing that we saw that was in common with the interviews we had is that there is a place for Christians on social media. It's just that we have to be careful. You know, there's a lot of roadblocks and things in the way on the different platforms that could get in our way and possibly lead us away from our faith, is one thing I took away from the interview.
Yeah, but if you use them correctly, then you can just you can spread the gospel. You can encourage people. You can ask for prayer requests, and some people even use it to just watch a church service instead of being if they unable to get to the church.
Right. Yeah, I would say it's that, you know, just for the casual viewer, somebody who may not be a Christian just sees one Christian post or one page that's all about Christianity, and that may be the thing that, you know, turns them to Christ and makes them find the gospel. So I do think social media is a good outlet for Christianity. Just got to be careful and make sure we use it correctly.
Yes, definitely.
So thank you for joining us today. Make sure to tune in next time as we talk about a Christian's view on the Texas abortion law.